The NBA draft is finally here. So on today's episode, we're going to talk about who will the Chicago Bulls draft at 4, go through a number of scenarios and try to figure it all out for the sake of our sanity. Then we're going to talk about if the Chicago Bulls are now out on Walker Kessler after making a deal for Nick Claxton. And then we got to share the tip because Ayo Dosunmu will not be coming home. Y'all know we're going to talk about it, break it all down, but you got to hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Shy Boys podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down for today's daily episode. So if you're tuned in, love what you're listening to today, go ahead and support us the best way that you can by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. We are so close to the 10K goal, and we gonna get that any day. As long as y'all don't freeload. That's me rhyming without even trying. But nonetheless, let's get into the content. It is an exciting day for Bulls Nation, especially after the intro that Bryson Graham gave us yesterday that we're going to be talking about here shortly. But first, we're going to talk about some of the latest intel that's surrounding the NBA draft and see if the Chicago Bulls will have their opportunity to get their guy. Who is their guy? I don't know. But I know who my guy is at number 4 for the Chicago Bulls. I'm hoping that they can go out there and draft a guy out of UNC and by the name of Caleb Wilson. I think that after making a trade for Nick Claxton yesterday, Caleb Wilson will fit in perfectly. And put Montes Buzelis at the 3. We got Josh Giddey at the 1, and we'll figure out who's going to come in and play the 2. But nonetheless, the latest things that we're hearing around the NBA draft definitely is providing some insight. It seems like the Chicago Bulls are posturing themselves right now, trying to make sure that if one of their guys are not available, that they will be able to pivot in another direction. According to the latest reports, Cam Boozer did a last-minute workout with the Chicago Bulls. We know that he had an awesome NBA draft combine. And this is a player that I really, really like. But I know that the consensus, and I'm in agreement with the consensus, is that we want the guy that could potentially be KG. And y'all just know I just said KG. And Caleb Wilson has a lot of hype around his name right now. It's all of us that have been going through the draft and evaluating certain stuff and looking at certain things. We've talked ad nauseum about how athletic it is. We necessarily don't know the ceiling. We necessarily like what we see. And if he can eclipse that ceiling, we know that he can be an all-star caliber player for the Chicago Bulls and Caleb Wilson. But now the rumors and the hype is going so far up and being so loud that there's an opportunity that we don't know. Good morning, son. Good morning. Hey, I still got to be a father, y'all. Still got to be a daddy. But nonetheless, the loud around Caleb Wilson is loud. We just had Iman Shumpert, one of Chicago people, you know what I'm saying, come out and say that he wants the Grizzlies to draft Caleb Wilson to pair with a guy like Ja Morant because of the chances of moving off of Ja Morant are very, very slim, at least at what you feel that you can get from him because of some of the off-the-court stuff and more recently some of the on-the-court stuff with him clashing with his now current head coach. So he has said that. Then Draymond Green last week threw in another bomb and made the hype even louder by saying that this man, Caleb Wilson, is the next KG in his mind. So it's not only some of the analysts and people that covering this stuff and speaking through the airways every single day. It's some former players saying this and current players saying this as well. Hence why when you look at the Chicago Bulls bringing in a Cam Boozer at the last minute for a workout, they're honestly, in my opinion, I don't know, but in my opinion, I'm believing that they're saying, you know what? There could possibly be a chance that Caleb Wilson is not available for us. Let's take a gander or a look at Cam Boozer. And I'll be honest with you, and I want to say this. Yes, I want Caleb Wilson, but nobody should feel bad about having Cam Boozer on their team. This guy is an offensive hub that you can have on the basketball court with you. High IQ offensive player. He can shoot it well. He can pass well. He has an NBA ready body, and he is a solid defender as well. This guy's going to be able to provide you with rebounds. He's going to be able to provide you with some of that high Q processing that you need on the basketball court for especially a young basketball team. So I do want Caleb Wilson. However, I will not be mad at the idea of Cam Boozer. We don't know how this draft is going to go. I know that Caleb Wilson has only worked out for the Chicago Bulls and has not worked out for anybody else. So there could be something there. But we've seen time and time again after all these years of covering the draft that it doesn't matter if a player doesn't work out for the team. Sometimes they'll still take them. That's just the reality. They will still take him. They will look at the film and say, you know what? He didn't have to work out for us. We have games on games on games of film that we can just evaluate and say, hey, you know what? This said player belongs on our team. So I want to say at the end of the day, I'm hoping that it's Caleb Wilson, but I will not be mad at Cam Boozer becoming a Chicago Bull. We shall see what happens later on today when Shy Bulls podcast, the Cognac Boys, will be collabing with Chicago Bulls Central over there with Hayes. My man Steve-O gonna pull up. We're gonna see if Big Kev and Big Mike gonna pull up. But make sure you hit that notification bell so when we go live, you can pull up. But this draft is about to be fun. It's about to be exciting because we don't know how it's all going to play out. Who I think the Chicago Bulls will draft, I'm going to say Caleb Wilson just to throw a little luck bomb up in there. But if it's Cam Boozer, I'm not mad at that idea as well. But will the Chicago Bulls try to pull off a quick one on us and draft somebody else? Find out on your latest episode of Dragon Ball Z. We're going to figure it out later today, y'all. Make sure you locked in and ready to rock and roll. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Y'all know when all the guys get together, we get a little wild, a little ruckus. So come prepared. Come prepared. But nonetheless, time to move on to the next topic of today's episode, and that is Walker Kessler. In the wee hours of the night, Bryson Graham said, y'all know what? Y'all thought y'all was going to be able to drink y'all tequila in peace. Y'all thought y'all was going to be able to drink y'all cognac in peace. Y'all thought y'all was going to be able to lay up with your lady. Nah, we got a trade to be a part of. And the Chicago Bulls went out there and traded for Nick Claxton without giving up nothing. He didn't give up nothing. So it was a 3-team trade that went down that sent Julius Randle to Brooklyn. And bro, they sent Julius Randle to Brooklyn. And yeah, they pretty much got a couple late round picks back for him or whatever. And yeah, so hey, and the Chicago Bulls got in that trade. I believe they did actually send away a player, but not necessarily mattering. Minnesota, they sent Julius Randle in the 28th pick in the NBA draft to the Brooklyn Nets. And then the Timberwolves will acquire the 33rd pick and the number 28th pick, while the Chicago Bulls will receive Nick Claxton. So the reason I'm bringing all this up is because there was a time to where a lot of us felt as if, hey, you have over $60 million in cap space or close to it. Will you go after a guy like Walker Kessler? So I believe over the course of Father's Day weekend, shout out to the fathers, by the way. I know I had myself a great time and my family treated me like the great father I am. I hope your family did something for you as well. But nonetheless, we heard over the weekend that Walker Kessler and the Utah Jazz are kind of at odds because Walker Kessler won over $30 million. So that was something that was on my horizon. That was something that I was going to be definitely talking about and trying to figure out, like, why Buddy think that he's supposed to get $30 million when he only played 5-6 games last season, and we don't really necessarily know what he's going to be able to provide on a $30 million salary. That's just my logic. That's just my thinking. Until the Bulls got Nick Claxton. So the question is, are the Chicago Bulls now out on Walker Kessler? Me personally, I say it's done. I think it's over. It's a simple fact because not only do you barely give up, I think the Chicago Bulls, the latest detail is that they gave up something real slight in this trade. Yeah, I think they gave up something real slight in this trade for Nick Claxton, a player or something that nobody really knows. I'm cool with it. But I also look at the fact that Tiago Splitter worked with Nick Claxton in Brooklyn. In Brooklyn, according to Casey Johnson, he says, one more note about pending Nick Claxton acquisition. I forgot to connect the dots on last night. Tiago Splitter, as Nets assistant, worked with Claxton in his first 4 seasons of the league. So the head coach gets somebody he's familiar with to come in and anchor the defense. And then we talk about the financial side of the deal. 2 years left, so no long-term commitment. But guess the money on, y'all? $23 million and $21 million over the next 2 seasons. Walker Kessler, we good, brother. We good. See, the AK, he ruined it because you should have drafted him, but you didn't. So we ain't even going to go down memory lane. We ain't even going to worry about that. We're going to focus on Nick Claxton. I still think that the Chicago Bulls should be evaluating other centers and looking at other prospects in the draft. But this is a great way to say, look, we ain't finna get it at. We going to be proactive instead of reactive. This is something that I asked for when Bryson first got hired. Are you going to be the type of front office executive that's just going to be reactive to everything, or are you going to get your hands dirty and be proactive? Bryson Graham has a tendency to be aggressive and go after guys that he wants, and nobody saw this coming. It has been years on top of years of the connection between AK and Nick Claxton. Us pretty much saying, AK, go get Nick Claxton because Vooch ain't it. Nick Claxton never came. And in the wee hours of the night, Bryson Graham brings over Nick Claxton just like that. And I'm not mad at it. I think that the Chicago Bulls are out on Walker Kessler. If Mark Williams is still an option, I think that's something that could be a little bit more feasible. However, I'm just going to go out there and predict that the Chicago Bulls will continue to address the center position in the draft. That's just my opinion. We'll see later today and tomorrow if I'm going to be wrong about that. But nonetheless, I ultimately think that the Chicago Bulls are now out on Walker Kessler. I don't see it happening. If it does happen, hey, I'm not afraid to say I was wrong. That's just me. But as right now, I'm predicting Walker Kessler will not be a Chicago Bull. That's just me. You let me know how you feel down below. Now, before we get up out of here, we got to share one tip. One tip. We got to share one tip for my man Ayo. He will not be returning to the Chicago Bulls whatsoever. Now, we already knew, if you've been following the show, we already knew that Ayo Dosunmu said the Minnesota Timberwolves would have a chance to make the offer first. If they did not make the offer, then he was going to look at other options. Then Bulls Nation got a little uppity because he said he was open to all things during free agency. And then the Bulls fans start smelling themselves, including myself, you know what I'm saying? Not really thinking logically. When Kendall Gill said, I talked to Ayo, he open to return at home. How'd that work out? How'd that work out? Ayo Dosunmu re-signs with the Minnesota Timberwolves on a 5-year, $112 million deal. That's a little bit of over $22 million a year. I'm happy for you, brother. I'm going to share one tip for you. Somebody cue the music. Somebody cutting onions. Bro. But Ayo Dosunmu is no more. We're going to continue to wish, bro, hey, go be successful as you can be, brother. Just not when you play my Chicago Bulls. But go be as successful as you can be, just as long you're not playing the Chicago Bulls. He definitely just got his first bite at the playoffs. He will absolutely, more than likely, be in the playoffs for the next few seasons as long as the Minnesota Timberwolves can continue to restructure and move things around on that team. And man, did they give away Julius Randle for a pack of 9 laters and a 50-cent juice. Man, they said, yeah, you go. We traded Cat for you. We traded Cat for you, and Cat got the championship. Fuck is you time about? And you ain't show up. Now it appears that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to look at guys like Jaden McDaniels and turn their heads to Naj Reid, maybe give some more opportunities to Joan Behringer. Now you got Ayo Dosunmu to come off the bench with Bones Highland, and then Dante DiVincenzo is going to return. They not too far off. I think they do still need to find that second option, which could potentially be a Jaden McDaniels, because when Anthony Edwards was down, Jaden McDaniels showed up, told the Denver Nuggets, we finna whoop y'all. Turn around. Oh, bro, what? But absolutely. So Ayo Dosunmu will not be returning to the Chicago Bulls. It was fun to talk about, but now we shall move on because he has moved on. And good luck to him, man. He still won a Chicago zone. Still was just present when they opened up the Barack Obama Library. Still doing big things, and I'm pretty sure he will continue to do big things in the city. And, man, shout out to you, bro. Get your money on, and I'm not mad at you, brother. Re-up. All I ask is one thing, brother. Let me hold $1. That's it. Let me hold $1. That's it. But nonetheless, that is it for me today, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of Shy Boys Podcast. Before you get up out of here, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well. We will be live for the NBA draft later tonight, collabing with Chicago Bulls Central and my brother Hayes. And I know my man Steve-O gonna pop up. We're going to see if Big Kev and Big Mike slide as well, but it's going to be a fun time. We're going to see who now changes their life and becomes Chicago Bulls, and we're going to make sure that Bryson Graham is doing it right. But nonetheless, that is it for me, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all always see red, and y'all already know I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure. Peace.
Cognac. Gang.